Hey guys, happy Friday. It is me, Pivots Queen. I am recording actually a NAS entries breakdown video today. So I've been kind of hinting at it for a while, and I decided to go ahead and do it this week because I didn't trade this week. So this would be kind of like an opportunity for me to back test what happened this week, but then also share with you guys what I would have done at one time, blase. Also be patient with me. So it's about 2:00 Friday right now, but I have Melvin with me, which is my son. He's 3, and I also have my niece, who's a couple months old. So since I have 2 kids here, this is going to be real stop and go. I already know I'm going to be interrupted because this is like my 3rd time recording this intro, and I'm just going to record as much as I can while my niece is napping. Melvin's kind of occupied, so I'm gonna try to run through this as quickly as I can, but also kind of give you as much info as I can. Also, I have pivots on my chart, and I normally don't have pivots on when I share my markups on Monday, and that's because I marked up first without pivots, but when I'm trading during the week, I do use pivots as a confirmation. So pivots is up here. I haven't explained pivots yet, but I will link a video down below to how you could get pivots like the ones I have. And yeah, so let's hop into it. So this was the chart that I sent on Monday in the Telegram group after I recorded Monday markups. So if you're not in the Telegram will also be linked down below. But this is the chart that I shared, and this is what I was kind of looking for, and bounce up to sell down, right? So now I have basically everything the same. The only thing that's different is I have a trend line here. I like to draw minor trend lines and wait for like minor trend line breaks for my entries. You can kind of see that back here. So I did the same thing here. You only need 2 points to make a trend line. So I mean by that, like you need like 2 bottoms. So this was 1 and this was 2. So I have my trend lines, I have my pivots. I'm on the 15-minute. I'm also gonna draw a new zone because I would draw a zone here, and I'm gonna make this purple because it is a minor zone. And so I usually trade NAS or look for trades for NAS around 8 or 8:30 in the morning. Opening bell happens at 9:30 every day, so I kind of want to be in before opening bell. Sometimes I enter after. Sometimes I enter way after. Like sometimes I don't enter until like 11 or 12. So it really depends. But I'm gonna show you like what I'm looking for to enter. Drew this minor zone just because price has been here like 3 times. So we'll see what price does from there. This is about like 6 in the morning. I am using replay to do this. So this is like, is this Monday morning? This is Monday morning that I have replayed back to. I just use the replay bars up here. If you press replay, you can drag this bar however far back in the market you want it to go, and it will erase all the candles from beforehand. So this is how you backtest when people say backtesting. This is how you backtest with the replay bar. And you could go back. Well, it depends on which TradingView plan you have. With the free one, I don't know how far back you can go, but with each paid one, that determines how far back you could go, if that makes sense. Like the more you pay, the further you could go back. Now that I have a minor zone that kind of just formed, and I have my major zone, and I have my minor trend line and my major trend line, I'm pretty much set. So even though this is a little earlier than I would start to be looking, what I would be waiting for is a break and retest of this trend line, and maybe some divergence on the 15-minute for confirmation for that. And I would be looking for sales, really just down to this S0 or this monthly level. So now let's just see how that plays out. So right now we haven't had a break. Okay, so we just got a break of that trend line. So now this went kind of fast. Let's see if I could do it a little slower. But we did have a break. Let's see what time this was. So this was like 8:30. I'm gonna back it up to like here. So I would have had this all marked up from the night before, or I might have marked it up just now, but 8:15, 8:30, this would have been around the time I would have been looking at the markets. So I would have been okay, we just got a break of this trend line, so I'd be waiting for a retest, preferably probably up to my R6 level, just because we already have a zone here, and with pivots, R6 is really important. So I would be waiting for this to pull back a little bit. So now let's play it. Yeah, now it's a little slower. So this is opening bell. Opening bell is usually really, really crazy. So you can see a lot of up and down. This did come in retest. So let me pause here. This did come, and that could technically be a retest. I can't say that I would have entered that one just because of how quickly it happened. Now it's playing out some more. Now that it came to the R6, I would be looking for entries here. I would be, we got bullish divergence, but I would be waiting on bearish divergence. To be honest with you, I would have had an entry here, and my stop loss would have been here, if that makes sense. So at this R7, so let me, when I entered into a trade, I like to use these. So this would have been my stop loss. It's not a bad stop loss. And then that would have been my TP. And then if this trade did hit my stop loss, I'd probably be looking for entries again up at this level. But this was the break and retest of that minor trend line. So I'm looking to sell down really to the top of this trend line, because we did break this minor trend line. So honestly, I'm really only looking for sales to retest this trend line. But if it doesn't close below here, then I'm not looking to take it any lower, if that makes sense. Like if we respect this trend line and start moving up, I might honestly start looking for buys. But right now I do have a sell bias, and we broke and retested the trend line that I had. So now we can let it play out. All right, so this one, it went down. It came back to entry a couple times. Pivots did reset. So that was kind of like confirmation. And we did end up selling down. All right, so that was Monday in a nutshell, right? I would have made sure to definitely secure profit. That's like 2,000 pips right there. And I'll try to keep track of how many pips I would have caught this week. All right, so I got 2,000 pips. All right, and let's let it keep playing until Tuesday morning. Sometimes I do take trades around like 11:30, or sometimes like as early as 10. And this is PM EST time that I'm speaking of. So sometimes like 10 or 11 PM EST. You can also find some moves on NAS. I'm gonna stop playing this for a second. Around London time. Actually, I'm gonna let it keep going. That's not where I want to get. You could find some moves around London time. So that's like London time really starts at 3 a.m. EST, but you want to start looking around like 2 p.m. 2 p.m., 2 a.m. EST, so you can be ready for it. So yeah, what time is this now? Okay, so we're at 8. Okay, so now we're on Tuesday, right? So we got our trade for Monday. Oh, we did end up getting 15-minute divergence. Again, I'll explain my settings for all this in another video. But yeah, so we got 15-minute divergence. So we went as far as 2,670 pips in profit. So now that we are here Tuesday morning, I will honestly be looking to TP out of my trade at this S0, but then watch to see how price reacts at this trend line to see if I could possibly get in for a buy, because we did break. We broke and retested here and we sold back down, but this could be another retest. Now, if price breaks through this trend line, then I'm looking to take it lower to the bottom of my channel, like I had said before. Right now, price is like in the middle of my channel, and the middle of your channel is just as important as the top and the bottom, because price can respect the middle of the channel too. So for this morning, if I didn't, like, let's say I didn't catch this sell yesterday, I would be looking for a quick sell down to the S0 today, so I could get a small entry if I wanted to for 1,000 pips, which is not bad at all. And like I said, a stop loss like here for like a quick trade, so kind of giving an example of that. But ultimately, I just want to finish out my stuff from yesterday here, and then look to see if I could get a buy entry somewhere around here. And then all I do, honestly, is I just set an alarm on this trend line. Like, I have an alarm set. All you have to do when you click on the trend line, there's like an alert button here. Edit your alert. I do once per minute. It'll say 15-minute trend line, and then I'll just get an alert on my phone because I have TradingView, the app on my phone. I'll get an alert on my phone and I just come look to see what happens. So I'm gonna let this play out now. We are approaching opening bell. Just happened. I love opening bell. All right. So I would have got my trend line alert if I got into that small sell I was talking about earlier. You know, I would have TP'd out probably like there, I think, where the S0 was. Pivots, shifts, and moves with the market, so you're going to see the shift all the time. It's perfectly fine. Actually, it's very, very helpful. So if you got into that sell there, you would have got your more than 1,000 pips, but you're just selling down to this trend line, right? Now price is here. This is the new S0. Let me see how many pips. You could set a limit here, or you could wait to see how the next candle opens and closes. Like, because this candle broke down, you want to see the next candle also be closed below this line. But if the next candle closes above, that could be confirmation for the buy. Also, this would be a good time to draw a fib. So A, B, we're waiting on the retracement to re-enter, and the 88 also lines up with the S0, so that's also really nice. So let me switch this back to candles. So honestly, I would be looking, I would probably set a limit, but also be watching it to see if I can enter market X, and that would make my stop loss a little bit below that last low. And I like even numbers, so I'm gonna just make it like that. And then I will be buying this up to this trend line up here to see if price is gonna come and test this trend line. When I have entries, I also like to enter multiple entries so I could like TP along the way. So even though it's just like one trade pattern here, I might have like 4, 5, 6 entries with my initial entry. And then I also like to look for entries along the way, but I like to have one entry, I like to call it like my top off, that I just leave and I let it keep running until the market is like reversing, or, you know, I like to swing trade because I'm a swinger. So I might hold a trade for an entire week. So just keeping that in mind. But I also move that, I trail that stop loss. Basically, it's like my trailer. So the price reverses back and I just get taken out in profit. All right, so that is what my setup is, and this is right after opening bell. So opening bell did open kind of negative. So yeah, I'm gonna just let that play out now. Okay, so remember how I said I wanted the next candle to close also below that trend line, and it did not, and the rest of the candles really didn't. Probably around this candle. Honestly, that third candle I would have got in and just made my stop loss a little lower than that low. So let me draw like a new one real quick. I'm gonna delete it, but I probably would have made it 115 right there. My stop losses for NAS are a little big, so I'm risking like 1,000 so pips. But mind you, I just made from this trade right here like 4,000 pips. So I have the pips to risk it, and even if this does hit stop loss, it's just, you know, profit. So that would be what the actual entry is. That would be the stop loss. I will still have the limit set just in case that does, you know, kind of tiptoe lower. But now let's let that play out. Okay, so it would have came back to entry. So depending, honestly, I would move my stop loss to break even once it got to, okay, yeah. So that was like 1,580 pips right there. So my stop loss would have been at break even. I can't really tell. It might have taken me out at break even, so I might have had to re-enter. One thing I also do once I enter into a trade, a lot of times what I'll do, instead of actually moving my stop loss, I kind of just set an alert. Right now it's going to just add a horizontal line because it's in replay mode, but if this was like live mode, this would be like add an alert. So I would normally add an alert here so I could get notified when price comes back there, and I could choose whether or not I want to manually like exit or not, if that makes sense. I also do that for my stop loss. I advise to start with actually putting a stop loss, but once you get a little bit more well-versed, you could just add alerts, if that makes sense. And I didn't see any divergence there, but this ultimately respected this trend line, so I would be buying to the next trend line. You may or may not have been taken out when it was kind of doing this wickish there, but let's keep it going. And this also was a 786 retracement on my fib too. And I'm gonna let this keep going until the next morning. That was Tuesday, so I'm gonna let this go till Wednesday morning. Oh, and this entry was around 10:30. So that's why I said sometimes I enter right at opening bell, sometimes I might have an entry after. In this case scenario for Tuesday, I actually had two trades. I would have been selling down and then buying up. So yeah, I just want to put that out. This is London, so this would have been a London move. So like I said, NAS moves at London time too. All right, so 6, 7, 8, 8:15, 8:30. All right, so we're at 8:45. Let's see, this is where my entry was. This is where price is now. Let me see, in reference to my fib, we're near the 6.8. All right, I would be looking to get into another buy position. Like I said, I like to enter around this time. I like to wait, but for me, I would be looking to enter this as a market X, just because now I'm gonna draw another zone. We've made like this minor zone here. And just based on the fibs, I would have to dive really deep into the fibs. And it also looks like, remember I said we need 2 points to draw a trend line. We're forming this trend line here. So I would enter into a buy market X. I'll probably have my stop loss. Yeah, my stop losses for NAS are kind of big. So, they'll get better and smaller with time, or sometimes it's dependent on the market. I could make it smaller, like I could make it just below those lows. And I could probably make like 86 pips. But for me, I like to give it like 1,000 pips. I'll leave it at this shorter one. What's this? That's 640. So I'll make it like 635. Like even numbers. Okay. So that would be my setup. I'm gonna actually take this. I hope this doesn't mess it up, but I want to take it to the hour really quickly because I like to base my trades on the 1 hour pivots the most. And I do a top-down analysis before the beginning of every week, so I kind of already know where I am on the 1 hour when I'm doing this. So I'm entering this trade at the S2, so the P4. This would be my overall target just based on where we are on the hour pivots. And because this day is Wednesday and I know that there's heavy news today on this day, I'm expecting a bigger move than normal, because normally I would probably just take it to about 80 on the 15. So that's why I'm setting it like this. All right, so now we're gonna let it play out. And like I said, it was news today, so I would expect volatility, like these crazy wicks and everything, to be expected, right? I definitely will still have TP set, so don't get it twisted. Just because my main TP is up here, I definitely still have TP set at the 8. I have a TP set at this trend line just because it can respect this trend line like it did. But just because it did this, I'm not going to close the trade. I'm going to just go ahead and move my stop loss to break even. So this is what I mean, like stop loss to break even. You're not losing any money if you hold on to it, but I've already caught just from this move like 2,000 pips. Oh, let me count my pips. I said I was going to keep track of the pips. So wait, let me go back. So this sell, we got 4,768. And then for the buy, if we're still holding this one, this is 2,770. And then from this one, we will have plus 2,090. So we're already at 9,628 pips a week just from having those there. So now we're at like 15. I'm not looking at the markets again and probably until like that night. So I'm gonna just let this play out. My stop losses at break even or a little bit in profit at this point. And I'm just letting the trades play out the way they will. I had no idea I was going to actually do that, but it broke above this trend line. And what time is this? Okay, we didn't even get a market close yet. And it hit my overall target TP. And like I said, pivots is going to shift. So pivots is shifting this whole time. What time is this? This is like nighttime. So it's at like 10, 11, 12. So that's like what, 20. Yeah, this happened at 10. All right. We're in London time. 8. All right, so now at 8:30. Price has broke and retested this trend line. The entry for this retest actually happened around like London time. So if you were up trading London, you definitely could have got that move here, right? Based on, so I'm gonna zoom out a little bit so I can see where is my buy bid. Here we go. So this is A, this is B. Price came to the 618 and we're moving up. So overall, based on this fib and how price is breaking these trend lines and respecting them, my next target area would be up to the minus 27 of this buy fib. It's just also this green zone. Now my entry for this, this trend line is still valid. But I want to draw a tighter one. What time is this? This is 8:45. For this one, honestly, so sometimes there's cases where I would do like a buy stop or a sell stop. I actually know a whole breakout strategy for opening bell with buy stops and sell stops, and I'll have to teach that at another date. But in this case scenario, I probably would have a buy stop. Let me actually green. So that's a buy stop is saying if price pushes up to this level, enter in me in for a buy and then take it up to this green zone. Price could also pull back a little bit. I don't know if it's going to pull back as far as the P4. So if I entered in market X, it would be kind of risky. So because I had a good week, I honestly might enter in market X and let it play. Yes, that's why I made the stop the size that I did, because I knew it could reach down, but it ultimately came down, respected that trend line, and kept going up. So my first TP would have been there, but this was my overall TP. So that would have been my entry for Thursday. Keep in mind, I'm still holding on to this entry from Tuesday and probably have an entry there. So that's what I mean by swing. I like to keep a lot of entries. And, you know, if I see this keep going, like, okay, I'm going to take it to this trend line. If it keeps going from there, I'm going to take it to the R6. That'll probably be my overall TP. I'm going to let that play out. All right, so that would have been Thursday. And then normally I don't trade on Fridays, but because of how pivots reset and how we're at the top of this channel, I would probably come back looking for another entry. I would still keep one of these entries here, but I'm looking to take it to 12,500. I know I said it on one of my Monday calls. I can't remember which one, but I was looking for here or targeting this area if NAS did start buying. I feel like I said that. So I'm gonna let this play out to the next day. So this is 8:30 the next day. Price it's not very clean, but price did break and retest, or you could count this as the break as well. And I'm gonna drag this out too. Because of where we are in this case scenario. You want juice? Okay. I'm back. We're back. It's Friday morning. I was looking for buys. If I would have just got in market X. Honestly, this is where my stop loss would be. And then, like I said, I'd be looking to take it here. This is not the best risk to reward, to be honest. I really liked it to be at least 1 to 2, 1 to 3. But if I was trading like London time, this would have been the ideal entry. If I want to make the risk reward better, I could make the stop loss smaller. So make this the stop loss. Yeah, and that's closer to what I want, like 1 to 3. But I can't be scared to get back in, if that makes sense. But I'm gonna just have it set like this for now. Also, like I said, I knew Friday we would probably get some news. So I might even set my overall take profit a little higher just because I know news is coming today. If you watched my Monday call, then you saw me overview the news that was coming out and which days it was coming. And I knew it was going to be heavy news, so that's why I really didn't trade this week. But I know how to trade news, and basically really trading news just pushes the market in the direction you're already looking to go in simple terms. But to really analyze the news, that's a whole different video in itself. So let's let this play out. This would have been my trade for Friday. It hit that 1500 TP, and then it hit my extended news TP, and that would have been the entirety of my week. I probably would have closed out of all the positions that I had, if I had any still running at this point. I probably would still have like one. But majority of my positions I would have closed out of already. Now that I see pivots currently how it shifted, then I definitely would be taking it to the 6. But yeah, so hopefully me doing this and actually showing you what I'm looking for when I'm entering my trades. I know the Friday one was a little iffy. That's why I really don't like to trade on Fridays. But yeah, this is like my simplest way of trying to break down NAS. And then let's actually add up all of the pips for the week. So let's count all the pips for this week. And I'm actually going to count the extended pips, like if I was actually swinging for each entry. So for this sell, we got 3,961 pips. And then for the buy, for the initial entry, if we swung that, that's a ridiculous amount of pips. I'm not even going to count that many pips. That's ridiculous. I'm going to just count to the first TPs I had set. So that's crazy. Dang. 3,754 plus from this entry from the next day, 3,133 plus 5,232 plus we trade Friday 2. This is 3,281. So this week, if you just looked for an entry every day around the same day and waited for it to either break and retest the trend line, or wait for it to respect the trend line, and then I had pivots as an added confirmation, you could have got like 2,000 pips this week, just from this week, which is ridiculous. The exact number was 19,361 pips, but I just rounded up to like 20,000 pips. So hopefully me going over this was helpful for you. And again, this was just me back testing the pips I could have caught this week if I actually traded this week, which is crazy. But yeah, that's why I like to leave everything on my chart, and I don't like to delete any of like my old fibs or like my levels. For this buy fib, let me see. Did I lock this in place? I didn't. Why is it moving? Here we go. So the buy fib, the 618, was near the 1500. So this fib is completed. And basically I would just wait for the market to finish because it's still market time. It's like 3 o'clock. So it's about like 2 more hours until the market closes. So I would just wait for this to finish up, and then I would mark up, either right when the market closes. I tend to mark up on Sunday my analysis for next week, and when I do mark it up, I will record it and send it to you guys. And when I give my trades on Monday, I'm really kind of just giving one move. So the sell move was what I gave out for Monday, but Tuesday through Friday it was buying. So that's why I really wanted to show this week as an example of like what I'm looking for, and kind of what to do. It might have went over some people's heads, but it might have been helpful to some people. So hopefully this was helpful to you. This is basically what I do every day, around the same time every day. I kind of look for a setup, and that's all I have for you guys. Sorry I didn't check for divergence more, but I kind of knew this week didn't have very much divergence. So divergence is just one of my confluences. So sometimes I don't have every single thing that I'm looking for on my checklist, but I make sure I at least have my pivots confirmation, and really like my trendline breaks in my zones. But yeah, that is it for me, and I will see you guys all on Monday. Make sure you like this video, you comment down below, you subscribe. Even if you just comment down below and just say good video or this was helpful, any comments you guys leave, that really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. And I'm trying to get to at least 100 subscribers. I think right now we're at like 45. So the goal is 100 subscribers. So make sure you like this video, you comment, you share it with a friend, and I will see all of you guys on Monday.